Previously on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
That Matthew Koch, the man behind, of course, the biggest success story of last year, Space Marine 2, well, he dropped a huge clanger. When you look at it in the grand scheme of things, the Saints Row reboot, well, got booted because it lacked direction. Greetings, my chicken noodles. Yours truly is back with a video today after being absent-minded for 2 days. Back with a new sound, a new vibe, and I just want to get on and talk about the Saints Row reboot that's happening yet again. I know. Why is this even happening? Because I guess people were burnt out and had sore bums from playing the 2022 abomination. Listen, I never even played it. I just watched the clips online and that was bad enough, but very good content fodder. And speaking of which, folks, if you're interested in seeing me make a fool of myself tonight, watch Mr. Brown's Alliance on YouTube from 10 p.m. until after midnight, where I'll be in the panel discussing babes, movies, and other things from the glorious year that was 1978. But without further ado, folks, let's get into this quick story regarding Saints Row and why we shouldn't be holding our breath any time longer than we ought to.
Perfect.
Prepare to meet the next great American hero.
Are you serious?
His name is
Kung Fu Hot Dog. Relive the 80s and 90s with Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, courtesy of Soft Tonic, which I'm pretty sure used to be a website where you would download dubious programs, software, if you remember what I'm talking about. Maybe it's the same people. The Saints Row reboot could return in the future despite the commercial failure of its last installment. We spell installment with one L here in the UK, don't you know? But it had to be something that ensures its success. A prequel to the original game, which actually does make sense, but I've got to advise you here, folks, this is just wish fulfillment at the moment. It's a bit of fantasy prophesizing, if you know what I mean. The Saints Row saga has experienced a notable decline in sales and interest since its third installment, which reached a milestone in the industry by selling over 5.5 million units. Again, Saints Row has often been compared to its rival GTA as being the imitator, but I think in some ways Saints Row is a lot more fun. I've actually said that more than once here on this channel, and again, are the graphics of Saints Row AAA like Rockstar games? Of course not, but they've got a certain charm. There's some very memorable characters.
I'm curious if you can keep your cavalier attitude when 2,000 volts are running through your body.
Oh yeah? And I'm curious if you can keep acting like a douchebag when I shove that gavel up your ass.
I don't know. Can it make a comeback? Well, Jesus made a comeback and he probably wished he didn't, but that's for another day, folks. But anyway, it was a commercial failure, blah, blah, blah. Now, however, the franchise could be on its way to being revived after being in a coma since 2022. Chris Stockman, not to be confused with Stuckman, the movie critic and director, creator of the first Saints Row, revealed in a Reddit forum that Embracer has contacted him to discuss the possibility of developing a prequel to the original game. According to Stockman, or Stock Aiken on Waterman, the company requested proposals from him, and he expressed his willingness to carry out a new concept that recaptures a semi-realistic and satirical tone characteristic of the early installment of the saga. Again, yeah, I know when they talk about the realistic tones, there were certain things, especially in number 3, where you walked around with sex toys battering people. They could mean that, but again, the whole point about the Saints Row earlier games, they were very funny, very tongue-in-cheek. Yeah, some of the mechanics were pretty awful, but you didn't mind because you knew that's why you invested in the game in the first place. Stockman commented that his vision includes the possibility of setting the game in different decades, so anything from the 70s, 80s and the 90s, which could bring an innovative and nostalgic approach to the narrative. However, the feasibility of this proposal is most uncertain, Master Luke, especially after the closure of Volition and the restructuring of investment in Embracer, which raises doubts about whether the discussions between Stockman and the management will actually materialize. Despite the uncertain situation, many fans of the saga hope that Stockman's vision can rejuvenate Saints Row and return the essence that made it a benchmark within the genre, but then eventually became a skid mark with the reboot in 2022. During the craziest moments of the video game industry, if progress is made in this direction, as opposed to one direction, the franchise could find a new path in an increasingly competitive market. Now, I will say that last part there is very key, because the whole point now is we've got Halo Campaign Evolved being worked on by Halo Studios, a division of Microsoft. And how is that going so far? Well, I watched a few YouTubers who are big Halo fans and have got a wish list as big as my dong. And honestly, do you think maybe Microsoft will be watching these particular videos and take on board those suggestions? Probably not, but they might be thinking about doing them anyway. And the whole point about why I mention this is because a Saints Row reboot might be a bit too late now, because people are jaded, they're not falling for clickbait so much. So when you tell me you might be setting a Saints Row back in the 70s and especially the 80s, holy shit, that's a goldmine right there. But you got to have the right marketing, you got to have the right people behind the game, no activism, no Sweet Baby Inc., and then maybe we might sit down and listen to you. But again, in a competitive game market where I would say the uncertainty of buying a disc and there's nothing on it and you have to download the game takes away the fun of actually owning the game in the first place. So I don't even know if that would even happen. What game engine will they be using? Will it be Unreal 4 or 5 or something else completely? So it's great that Chris Stockman has had this conversation with Embracer, but why are they saying that? Is it to prop up their shares? Is it to fuel speculation like from people like me? I don't know. It's very interesting. It's wishful thinking, to quote China Crisis, but at the end of the day, folks, to sit back, wait until we see credible news from credible sources of gaming outlets far, far away that the eye can see, and then we'll have to, well, sit back and see if devs are brought in, if there's any behind the scenes drama, and if there isn't, well, who knows? But you know what else I do know, folks? I'm feeling rather hungry and I want to stuff my face very shortly. But if you ended up enjoying this video today, make sure you leave a comment below, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to catch me catching you on Mr. Brown's Alliance live stream tonight from 10 p.m. until midnight.
You don't think the back's guarded?
There's like 2 punks.
What about the inside, motherfucker?
Put in your tampons and let's do this.